Quit India Movement. The Quit India Movement, also referred to as the August Movement, was a movement launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi on 8 August 1942 during World War II. Its main objective was to put an end to the British rule in India. On 8 August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi delivered a speech in Bombay at the Gowalia Tank Maidan, in which he made a call to do or die. All India Congress Committee supported Mahatma Gandhi. Even though the Britishers were at war, they were prepared to act. The immediate cause for the Quit India movement was the Cripps mission. In late March 1942, the British government sent the Cripps mission to secure Indian corporation and to support them for their efforts in World War II. The leader of the mission was a senior minister, Sir Stafford Cripps, who was a part of the left-wing Labour Party and was also a member of the coalition war cabinet led by Prime Minister Churchill, who had long been the leader of the movement to damn Indian independence. Cripps was sent to barter an agreement with the Nationalist Congress leaders, most of whose leaders represented the bulk Hindu population, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and thus the Muslim League, who represented the minority Muslim population. Cripps discussed the proposals which he had written himself with the Indian leaders. Both the foremost parties rejected his proposals, which were also unacceptable to Churchill. No middle way was found, and thus the mission failed. Congress refused to cooperate. In response, the British imprisoned the whole Congress leaders until the war was over. Mahatma Gandhi also believed that after British, Japan could also invade India. This made him more worried, which led to this movement. The consequences of the India movement. The British government killed the decision of Gandhi by arresting all major Congress leaders the very next day. Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, etc. were all arrested. This left the movement within the hands of the younger leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Ram Manohar Lohia. Over 1 lakh people were arrested in reference to this movement. The government resorted to violence so as to quell the agitation. There were mass floggings and lathi charges everywhere. Even women and youngsters were not spared. About 10,000 people died in police firing in total, although there was no communal violence. The Indian National Congress was banned. Its leaders were jailed for nearly the entirety of the war. Gandhi was released on health grounds in 1944. The people killed Gandhi's call during a major way. However, within the absence of leadership, there have been stray incidences of violence and damage to government property. Many buildings were assailed fire, electricity lines were cut, and communication and transport lines were broken. Some parties did not support the movement. There were opposition from the Muslim League, the Communist Party of India, and therefore the Hindu Mahasabha. The League wasn't in favor of the British leaving India without partitioning the country first. In fact, Jinnah asked more Muslims to enlist within the army to fight the war. The Communist Party supported the war waged by the British since they were allied with the Soviet Union. Subhash Chandra Bose was, by this point, organizing the Indian National Army, and therefore the Azad Hind government from outside the country. C. Rajagopalachari resigned from the Indian National Congress since he wasn't in favor of complete independence. In general, the Indian bureaucracy did not support the Quit India movement. There were strikes and demonstrations everywhere in the country. Despite the communist group's lack of support, workers provided support by not working within the factories. In In some places, parallel governments were also found out. Example, Balia, Tamluk, Satara. The main states of the movement were Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Midnapur and Karnataka. The movement lasted till 1944. The prominent leaders who pioneered the Quit India movement were Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi planned an all-out campaign to compel British withdrawal from India after the failure of the Cripps mission to succeed in a compromise. He was arrested on August 9, 1942. He undertook a 21-day fast in February 1943 to protest against the government action against Indians involved within the movement. Aruna Asaf Ali, an active participant in the Indian independence movement. She is widely remembered for hoisting the Indian national flag at the Gowalia Tank Maidan, Bombay, during the Quit India movement in 1942. After the arrest of major Congress leaders, she presided over the session at Bombay which marked the commencement of the movement. Jayaprakash Narayan. Jayaprakash Narayan was a member of the Congress Socialist Group and played a prominent role within the movement. The leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia, Aruna Asaf Ali, Sucheta Kripalani, Chitlubhai Puranik, Biju Patnaik, R.P. Goenka and Achyut Patwardhan were related to the underground movement and revolutionary activities in support of the Quit India movement. The Quit India movement was the last in the series of mass movements launched by the Indian National Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. It swept across the length and breadth of the country. The congressmen were filled with patriotic fervor and urged to act and suffer for the nation. They were keen to gain freedom from foreign domination. This movement helped the Indians in igniting their urge to live independently, which they were missing for the last 2 centuries.